you sitting here? Guys, I didn't enter join.
Nice, switch tables.
Messages and advisors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a nice one.
She interested in coming?
Oh, Isa.
Lisa? She interested
Isa.
Lisa. She interested in coming?
She should come.
Lisa, you wanna come see this with?
Alright, hon. Right here, baby.
I really thought you were like saying that Isa like hun, and I was like,
Oh.
Very fine.
And from FMEHR himself.
yeah. Hunter is fine. I don't care about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I also don't care about her.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I had to.
Yeah, well,
Who's? Is anyone sitting there?
I think that's Dr. Birk's seat.
No,
That's
Oh, there's one
great.
else there. Sorry.
yeah, you know.
What is the best way for Tony to call in and participate?
Yeah, if he wants to participate, we can do a Slack call, but I am posting it to the YouTube channel.
Okay.
Thanks.
It's my YouTube channel, but I probably should.
Trying to get that subscriber count up.
Exactly. All right, so main thing we're gonna go over today is the backup card builder, which is really our page creator and what that looks like. The components are starting to build up there. Just as a brief review, when we're creating cards UI changed a little bit. So you go into a category. Categories are permissioned, so certain people are allowed to make changes to, say, the admissions cards, but not to sporting events, and vice versa. When you come in here, when you're creating cards are just content, just piece of information that you want to make available on the site, either via the user stream or through a category that they can look at. In this case, we have a card. We show a little icon of what the background sort of looks like there, what the title of the card is, the number of recipients that are currently there, and then the start and the end date of the campaign for that particular card. We can go in. You can see here, this is how we're doing our basic stuff, the scheduling, adding it to stream. So this will put it into anybody's stream who are marked as recipients in this next line. If you're removed from the stream, then you don't need to choose recipients, obviously, and it doesn't matter. We went over this a little bit last time, so recipients, searching, you can search for recipients, you can add them, you can remove them, you can exclude audiences, etc. All right. So that's all fun. This is the front of the card as it looks right now. So you can swap between different types of cards and all that kind of thing. You can change the background. Something's broken right now because it won't move. But the interesting part for today is backup cards. So here I've put together a bunch of components, and we can see a preview of what those things look like. So I have a header and a list item and a little image with some helper text and a subheader and another item that has an arrow. Has a link on it. If we click on it, it'll take us out to full measure. So here we go. We've got a little image slide box guy going on. We've got a staff card. So this is like your advisor or whatever. You can click call. I'll actually call them. So I'm calling myself, which is just going to end in me. One second. Yeah, that's strange. I had the hero thing showing up. Uh-oh, I moved it. I got rid of it accidentally. There's generally going to be a hero at the top here that is the image from the front of the card and then the title and the subtitle. So if we go back and look at...
Is hero like a design term?
Yeah, hero means like... It's like
the
that
front of the
large
card
thing
image.
that you see at the top. Yeah.
So all it does is give you a visual reference from the front of the card that you click onto the back.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
So a hero is like... Here, I'll show you ours. Here, it's right here. this thing, this large thing at the top,
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily. So like that is a hero. Got jumbotron, various terms for it. Anyway, so there will be one there for the front of the card, so you have a reference to where you were. But we can see all these things now. To actually build this stuff, so we can remove things. So at this point we're empty, so it says add your first component. Oh look, there's nothing in the preview. It's great. So I go add my first component. Say I want to start with a header, pops up there. It just starts with some default value of my first header here. So if we go preview that with my first header, I can modify it. So I can come in here, change this to be mission application. Get a little preview of what it's going to look like for that particular component down here. Exit out of that. We can add another one. Let's say that we want to add an image. So that's our image as it exists right there. We could make it some different one. Okay. And then when we go to preview, it's starting to look like something. So we can add another one, like a item, another item maybe, and then a paragraph. And go into the paragraph and say like, stop it, phone. Just to just to give us something there. All right, so some block of text. Go take a look at that. That's great, but actually I want to give them the information before I show the list items. So I'm just going to drag it up.
Nice.
Preview it. Boom.
Drag and drop.
Drag and drop.
Where's
Been
my-
saying that for years.
So, the end. I mean, that's it, right? Like, this is our whole back of card builder. We have all kinds of components that we can add into here. At the moment, we only have these 8, I think, but just to give you some sense, like the header, I think, took like 15 minutes or so to build. The staff card took an hour to build. So we can build a whole bunch of these. They can be pretty complex. So like if we look at the staff card, it's a relatively complex thing that's happening, right? We have this staff information showing up. We're getting their actual email, their phone number, etc. But all you do in terms of adding one is like I can add Nathaniel. Okay. And so now if we go preview, there it is at the bottom, right? So that's it. That's all you have to do to get that up and running, which is really nice because it means we can make very complex things. Like we could drop in your course information or your upcoming classes or whatever. We just have to have the data to be able to come down and build the UI element, and then we can drop it into our app as one of these things.
I have a question that maybe isn't relevant because I don't know how the build process is going to work, but to add a new component, is that like a back-end change or would that require new builds?
Yeah, you need a developer.
Okay.
Yeah, because the component is code, right? It's like built from
Right.
something.
But like now we have like ice changes versus ionic changes. That's why like I don't know if this question like applies to.
Oh,
this
well,
stuff,
that
but-
I have no idea yet. Like
Okay.
the build so just because it requires code doesn't necessarily mean that it requires a build.
Right.
Hopefully, the Ionic deployment process that we have set up, when you add a new one of these, we do have to go through and like push it to release, like ICE does, but it should show up immediately in the app.
Okay.
I don't know though. Anyway, any component that gets created is going to have to go through a validation process if it's built outside of us.
Right.
Right. So nothing will just show up out of nowhere. But I don't know. Questions?
That's great.
Do we see the value?
Yes.
Yes.
Hunter.
Hunter. Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Alright.
And we really can. We can work with third parties now. It's set up in such a way that we can actually fork a repository for third parties to be able to go and build all kinds of components. So like we could drop it over to Blackboard. We give them some standards of how we do this. I told Benny how to watch from outside the glass. I actually did, but I didn't think he'd do it. But we can show them sort of what the practice is for how to do it. They'll build them. They'll put in a pull request to us. We'll validate it, and then we can actually put it into the app relatively easily. So this brings up a lot of things that we can do, and it moves us away from HTML, so we don't have to worry about accidentally making bad CSS or bad JavaScript or whatever and causing the form to get
And it
jacked up.
standardizes all the backs of cards in a nice way that makes them all beautiful. Which
Yeah.
is great.
And we're going to move, the front of cards are going to be built in the exact same way. And you'll just have the preview up here and then the form down here. So it should be pretty groovy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You missed it, dude.
But, real content building, all kinds of components, really cool stuff we can do. Everybody get it? No.
Cool. When's it gonna be ready? And report.
It'll be on
Dude, it's live.
app.stage.
It's done.
Great. Sign me up.
It'll be on app.stage this afternoon. You can always go pull up the YouTube video, and look at it, and
That's not what I was asking.
The one that you're just making right now.
Yeah. I think that's all
I have a
the.
question.
Yeah.
On the desktop version of what we're seeing here, will there be a visual indication of all the components on that screen
Yeah.
there?
It'll be a little
Yeah.
different.
So it'll be a split view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So yeah, on the desktop you'll see this screen or the form,
Mhm.
and then you'll see the preview updating on the right hand side.
Yep.
So you always have the preview available, and then you'll have either this draggable thing or the form depending on what you're doing.
Cool.
So yeah. Yeah, and you won't have the preview button. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you don't have to worry about coming into here. You'll actually be able to see it live like we do currently on desktop.
Got it.
I think that's all the things I have to show this time. And it should actually. No, I haven't done that part of it yet.
Perfect.
Cool.
That's all I got.
Thanks, Sam.
Okay, thanks.
Bye, Towns.
See ya, Tony.
I'll wait for him to say.
See you, Tony.
Hung up.